All right, let's dive into the world of metals. I mean, we see them everywhere, use them every day, but how much do we actually know about them?
You got that right. Most people don't think twice about that spoon they're using to eat their cereal.
Yeah, exactly, just a spoon. But it's a product of, like, what, centuries of humans figuring out how to work with these materials?
Absolutely, from simple tools to complex alloys. It's pretty fascinating how metals and human history are intertwined.
So where should we even begin with all this? I mean, there are so many different types of metals out there.
Well, a good place to start is with the ferrous metals, the ones with iron as their main component.
Oh yeah, those ferrous friends, the backbone of so much of what we build and use.
Exactly. And when you think about iron, it's pretty amazing. Strong, durable, can be shaped, and magnets stick to it.
Yeah, and let's not forget its tendency to rust. Why is that such a big deal? Seems kind of inconvenient if you ask me.
Well, think about it. You build a bridge out of iron, and suddenly you've got rust eating away at it. Not a very good look for a bridge, is it?
Definitely not. Makes sense that people would want to figure out ways to work around that.
And that's where alloys come in. By combining iron with other elements, you can actually enhance its properties.
Ah, so it's like giving iron a team of sidekicks to boost its powers.
Yeah.
Like with cast iron, right?
Bingo. Cast iron is a great example. You see it everywhere, from those heavy-duty engine blocks to those, what are they called? Those skillet things people love so much in the kitchen.
The cast iron skillets. Yeah, I've heard they can last for generations if you take care of them.
Exactly. Cast iron is incredibly strong and wear-resistant, which is why it's perfect for applications where durability is key. But there's a trade-off.
Oh, what's that?
Well, it can be pretty brittle. Imagine dropping that cast iron skillet. You'd be more worried about the floor than the pan.
Ouch. Good to know. Okay, so cast iron, strong but brittle. Got it. Now, what about mild steel? Seems like that's the go-to metal for just about everything.
You're not wrong. Mild steel is kind of the workhorse of the metal world. Think skyscrapers, cars, bridges, you name it.
So why is it so popular? What makes it such a good choice for all these different things?
Well, for one, it's strong and relatively ductile, meaning it can be shaped without breaking. And it's pretty easy to weld, too.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's versatile and easy to work with.
Mhm.
Anything else?
Oh, yeah. It's pretty cost effective, too. That's always a bonus.
Makes sense why it's everywhere. So we've got reliable and affordable. But what about when things get really hot, like metal melting hot? What do we use then?
That's where high-speed steel enters the picture. This stuff can withstand incredibly high temperatures without losing its edge.
Really? So how did they used to like machine things before they had high-speed steel?
It was a much slower and less efficient process. High-speed steel was a total game changer for manufacturing.
So a major breakthrough. Now, how about stainless steel? It always looks so, sleek and polished, like it's designed to last forever.
And it pretty much is. That resistance to corrosion you're talking about, that comes from adding chromium. It forms a protective layer, almost like a shield, that prevents rust and staining.
Ah, that's the secret. So stainless steel's resistance is kind of built in, right?
Exactly. That's why you see it used in kitchens, hospitals, anywhere. Hygiene and durability are essential. But keep in mind, not all stainless steel is created equal.
Oh, really? What do you mean?
There are different grades of stainless steel, each with different amounts of chromium, and that affects their properties and what they're best used for. Some are better for high temperatures, while others are more resistant to specific chemicals.
Huh. So there's a whole world of stainless steel out there, each with its own specialty. I'm learning so much already. Okay, so we've talked about iron and some of its most popular alloys, but what about when we move beyond iron altogether? What's waiting for us in the world of, what are they called, non-ferrous metals?
That's where things get even more interesting. The non-ferrous metals, they bring a whole new set of possibilities to the table.
Okay, you've got my attention. What's first up in this non-ferrous lineup?
Let's start with aluminum, the lightweight champion. It's super light, but still strong. I mean, think about it. This is the metal that helps airplanes fly.
Wow, yeah, I never really thought about it like that. It seems kind of flimsy, like a soda can, but it's holding up those massive planes. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, aluminum is pretty incredible. It's resistant to corrosion, too, which is a huge plus, and it conducts heat and electricity really well.
So wait, that's why they make pots and pans out of it?
Oh, yeah.
Because it heats up so fast.
Exactly. And aluminum foil, that keeps your food fresh because it's such a good conductor.
Huh, the more you know. Okay, so aluminum is lightweight, corrosion resistant, and a good conductor. Anything else?
Oh, yeah. It's also super malleable, which means it can be shaped into all sorts of intricate designs.
Makes sense why it's used in so many different things.
Mm.
Okay, let's move on to another metal that's always caught my eye. Brass.
Huh.
I love that warm golden look it has. And of course, it's all over the music world.
Brass is special. It's actually an alloy, a mix of copper and zinc. And you know what? The exact ratio of those two metals determines the color and properties of the
So
brass.
it's like a recipe. You tweak the ingredients and get a different kind of brass.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool, right? But what makes brass really shine is its sound. Its acoustic properties are amazing. Brass vibrates in a way that creates those rich, resonant sounds you hear in instruments like trumpets and trombones.
I've always loved the sound of brass instruments. There's
Wow.
something so powerful and emotive about them.
And it's all thanks to the unique properties of brass. It's not just for music, though.
Oh, yeah. Where else do you see it?
It's pretty popular for decorative stuff like door handles or those fancy light fixtures. And because it's so durable and doesn't corrode easily, it's a good choice for plumbing fixtures, too.
So it's beautiful and practical. I like it. Okay. Now, for a metal that's a little less flashy but still super important, copper. It's everywhere in the electrical world, but I have to admit, I don't really get why.
Copper is like the unsung hero of our electrical grid. It's got amazing electrical conductivity, which means it lets electricity flow through it super easily with barely any resistance.
So it's like the ultimate conductor.
Pretty much. That's why it's used in power lines to carry electricity from power plants to our homes and businesses.
Huh. I guess I never really thought about what was inside those power lines before.
It's copper. And it's not just for large-scale stuff either. Think about all the tiny wires and circuits in your phone, your computer, even your headphones.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Copper is literally everywhere. So it's the backbone of our electrical infrastructure and our electronics. That's pretty impressive.
Right. It's amazing how much we rely on copper without even realizing it. Okay, now let's talk about some metals that are all about protection. Tin and zinc. They might not be as glamorous as some of the others, but they're crucial for keeping things from corroding.
Guardian metals, huh? I like it. Tell me more about how they work.
Tin is famous for its corrosion resistance, especially when it comes to protecting steel. You know those steel cans that hold food?
Sure, I've got a whole pantry full of them.
Well, they're coated with a thin layer of tin to prevent them from rusting and keep the food inside safe. It's called tin plating, and it was a major breakthrough for food preservation.
Huh. So tin is like a silent protector working behind the scenes to keep our food fresh. Never thought about that.
Right. And then there's zinc, another corrosion fighter. Have you ever heard of galvanizing?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
It's a process where they coat steel with zinc to create a barrier against rust. The cool thing about zinc is that it's what they call a sacrificial metal, meaning it'll corrode before the steel it's protecting.
That's pretty selfless, huh? Like a bodyguard taking the hit for someone else.
Exactly. So zinc is out there protecting all sorts of things, from bridges to fences to cars. And you know what? It's actually used in brass, too.
Really? Wow, zinc is a busy metal. So we've covered a lot of ground here, from iron to aluminum to zinc. It seems like every metal has its own special story to tell. What are some of the key things you think people should take away from all this?
I think the biggest thing is just how diverse metals are. They all have their own strengths and weaknesses, and knowing those is key to using them the right way.
Right, like some are strong, some are light, some conduct electricity, some fight off corrosion, some even make music. It's incredible, really.
And when you think about it, metals are the foundation of so much of our world.
Yeah, from the tools we use every day to the buildings we live and work in, even the technology that connects us, it's all built on these amazing materials.
Exactly. And it's constantly evolving. There's always something new being discovered or invented.
So what's next for metals? What are you most excited about in terms of like future innovations?
Oh, there's so much cool stuff happening in the world of material science. For one, people are working on smart metals.
Metals, what are those?
Well, they're metals that can actually change their properties in response to their environment.
Really? Like how?
Like imagine metals that can heal themselves if they get damaged, or alloys that get stronger under pressure, that kind of thing.
Wow, that sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
I know, right? It's pretty mind-blowing stuff. And then there's this whole push towards sustainable metal production.
Oh yeah, that's so important.
Absolutely. As we learn more about the impact of mining and refining metals, people are coming up with new ways to extract and recycle them more efficiently and responsibly.
It's about finding that balance, right? We need these materials, but we need to be mindful of the planet too. So as we wrap up our metal adventure here, what's a one thing you want listeners to walk away with?
Just that, metals are more than just shiny stuff. They're the unsung heroes of our modern world, shaping our lives in ways most people don't even think about.
It's like they're the silent backbone of civilization. From the first tools our ancestors made to the spacecraft we're sending into space, metals have been there every step of the way.
Exactly. So next time you see a metal object, don't just see it as, an everyday thing. Think about the journey it took to get there, from the earth to your hand. Appreciate the history, the science, the innovation that went into it.
Yeah, like that spoon we were talking about earlier. It's not just a spoon. It's a symbol of human ingenuity in our quest to understand and harness the power of nature.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, folks, that's a wrap on this deep dive into the fascinating world of metals.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for joining us, and until next time, keep exploring.